What is a floating gate? Well, I'm going to give you an illustration of how this works. And it's going to be a medieval illustration, but I think you're going to get the point pretty quickly. Alright? On secure digital cards, they have things called floating gates and control gates. And I'm going to use the illustration of a medieval castle to explain this to you. Alright. Here's our castle. Bing! Ugly thing, isn't it? Okay. Now we have two gates. As you can see there's the drawbridge. And we have two gates. The control gate and the floating gate. Okay? And the floating gate is where people come to first. Then they go to the control gate and then they go in the castle. Alright. Now then, we're going to imagine that the king of this castle comes out to the control gate and starts displaying gold all over the place. Now sure, that's going to attract the attention of peasants. We're going to imagine them as current. Okay? Peasants are going to be current. Now then, we also have these things called electrons. They're negative charged particles. But we're going to imagine these electrons as thieves. Now sure, peasants are going to want to look at the gold, but the thieves are going to want to steal it. Okay? Now the king knows this. And so does his guards. So when these electrons try to get past this floating gate to get to the gold that's at the control gate, guards immediately seize them and detain them between the floating gate and the control gate. Let me say that again. The guards go out from the control gate and they detain the electrons that are trying to pass from the floating gate to the control gate. Now, if they're being detained between the floating gate and the control gate, the peasants can't go through those arrested electrons. They have to go around them. Alright? Now, the peasants are still able to get to the control gate, but they can't go through the electrons. Basically, electrons become trapped between the floating gate and the control gate. Alright. Now, when there are electrons trapped between the floating gate and the control gate, that's called a zero because current can't pass. They can't pass through the electrons. Alright? But when those detained electrons are taken to the dungeon, okay, they're taken to the dungeon, then these peasants, or otherwise the current, can actually float through, and that's called a 1. Current flowing through is a 1. Electrons stopping current is called a 0. And that's how that works. Alright. Hopefully you understood my illustration. I should be able to help you remember what this is all about. I will tell you more in a future video. Stay tuned.